Next, we have a game called Rattlebones.
Yes, sir. It's designed by Stephen Glenn. The artist is Martin Hoffmann, Claus, Stephan, and Mirko Suzuki, and it's published by Rio Grande Games.
All right. So Rattlebones is essentially a roll and move game. Now, before you turn off the channel, they have changed the roll and move idea. So you've got dice. You've got 3 colored dice. And the dice have sides, and you can pop these off and put new sides on them. So you start out with normal 6-sided dice. The board is essentially a walk around the edge of the map kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's glorified with art, but
right.
Essentially it's like moving around a Monopoly board. But each space, there's maybe 4 or 5 spaces on each side instead of a bunch. Each space you land on actually can give you a special power, basically. And it's just a different side that you attach to your dice. And these different sides do obviously different things. Some of them will allow you to move farther. Some of them will give you more of a choice of freedom of movement. Some of them will give you something like there's these loans in the game. Stocks. And as the stocks deplete and they run out from the stock bank, basically, everybody gets paid based on how many of those you got. So there's a bunch of different ways to gain victory points in the game. Some of them is you get stars, I think, and as you pass go, essentially you get points based on how many stars you have.
There's some kind of train thing in the middle you can get points off of.
Yeah, there's this little train in the middle, and as you roll the train side, you move it 1 space, and you get points based on what it lands on. But that fluctuates up and down.
Yes, like it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like a little roller coaster, you're right. And then there's a couple of other ones, and I'm going to just go straight into it, Matt. Straight into it.
Wait.
There's one side that's a re-roll and add another die.
Yes. And
so on your turn, you get to pick which one of your 3 dice that you choose to roll, because you might build one for movement, and you got like a couple of, I think it's like 3 pawns that are on the board.
Yes, 3 pawns.
Yeah, and you choose which one of them to move. So if you roll 3, you might want to move this guy 3 spaces because he's going to get this special, or, well, I have a ton of stock. Maybe I want to land on the stock again, so I'm going to move this pawn instead. Anyway, there's one that is when you roll it, you get to re-roll that same die and add another die and perform both actions. And I didn't immediately. At the end of the game, I realized that is probably the best ability. Like, if you don't do it, you can't win in comparison to people who have those. What do you think? I'm less passionate about my response than I was the day we played it.
Yeah,
I was pretty mad.
Yeah, you seemed upset. Like I said, I didn't disagree with you about it wholeheartedly. I don't know. It's a goofy carnival game that it's completely luck based anyways, because you're just rolling dice the whole time. You're just chucking dice. The only thing you can mitigate is maybe the way you build your dice. Like you said, you might build one to move, another one if you've got this OP card you're talking about. Then you might, as you re-roll that one, then you'll bring in your point dice, or a dice that's made to get you stocks, or however you're wanting to attack with your other dice. I guess you obviously don't want to use it to move 2, because there's no point in moving 2 things around or just racing around that track. I think maybe because we had 2 of them out too, or also might have been part of the issue. I have seen reviews on this where people didn't even use that and still killed people.
Well, that's true, but I mean, it's always in the game because 1 space is printed on the board.
1 is printed, right.
And then you have a deck of cards that you shuffle and you place them in other spots. So the board is a little bit random based on the special abilities and where they're at, except for the printed ones. They're always in the same spots. And the only reason I felt like it was it's not that it's power or broken. It's just really powerful in comparison to the other things.
Well, yeah, like you said, you felt at the moment you couldn't win that game unless you had that.
Right, because the other 3
just
players,
because of how powerful it is.
Correct. The other 3 essentially every time you roll that, you're going to get another action. And what's even crazier, if you roll that and then re-roll that die and a new die, say you rolled it again, you got a 3rd die.
Right.
And then you roll that. I mean, so you're doing all 3 of your dice. You can move all 3 of your pawns. You can get all 3 different types of victory point gathering things.
Right.
So you're essentially taking 2 more turns than somebody who didn't roll it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the game's luck. I get that. But I feel like without it, you would roll a die and you choose which guy to move, and you're trying to make the best move. You might, not take some things that are giving you victory points to get a new side to your die that's going to give you more victory points in the long run. Whereas this, it kind of eliminates that choice factor because you're like, well, I'll just get a die that has like 3 sides of that, and I'm constantly taking 2 and 3 actions.
Right.
And so if that was a card and it's randomly in the game, that would be cool. But the fact that it's always in the game, I don't know, it kind of turns me off a little bit.
It doesn't always have to be there. You can just slap a card over it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you could house rule it.
You could house rule it, yeah. But I always like to look at the game on how it's designed and the intent of it, because obviously I can house rule anything.
Yeah.
And, make it a little bit better for my taste. But, obviously I want to review it as far as how it stands. So, I don't know. I guess the trade-off is, yeah, sure. Everyone has access to this. It's not like it's one of those things where only 2 of the players can get it and then the other 2 players can't.
Now, again, it is up to your lucky rolls to land on it.
True.
I mean, because you could not roll and just overpass all 3 pawns and pass it up, and then you got to try and race all the way back around to try and hit that spot again. So, I mean, that's kind of what happened to me. Yeah. On the first round. Or not round, but on the first couple rolls to where all our pawns have moved. Right. Because I couldn't ever land on it. And eventually I did, but I only got 2 of them. And I'm pretty sure Eric had like 5. Who knows what he had Eric fashion dice going on, whatever he was doing over there.
Yeah. But dice rolling, he kind of excels at for some reason, but maybe the game was a little skewed because of that. Yeah. But in the I don't know if it's really helping your argument, but on the other hand of it, there's certain things that are just like worthless, like that coin. Oh yeah, that was stupid. Yeah, where you got to buy or re-roll, but you couldn't use it right then. You had to wait. I think is what, or was it buy an extra dice or something? I think it's buy an extra die, but what happens is you can't do it whenever you roll it, and so really you're just delaying an action. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's been a few weeks. I know earlier I said all these games we played since the last podcast, but this one has been a few weeks. Right. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that you roll the coin, you get the coin, and then on your next roll, you can re-roll. But the difference is that you don't get to add a new die. You just get to re-roll a result. So basically what that means is on turn A, you roll a coin. You don't get to do anything. On turn B, you lost a turn for an opportunity to re-roll a die later on. Right. So the coin was worthless. I don't think it was worth points at the end of the game. If it was, maybe it would be less worthless. But then you would never use it to re-roll. You're still losing a turn though. And if it was worth points, it probably wasn't anything worth it, impressive or anything. Did we play with the thief? We did not, because I think we were playing with Jason and he said not to. Right. Because that would have been what made me hate the game. Oh. What do you remember? Did you look up did you refresh on this? Yeah. What does the thief do? He just takes stuff from people. He takes some stars and the stocks. Oh, so he doesn't take your sides of your dice. He actually takes the components you've been gaining for victory points. Wow, that's so annoying. I know, exactly. That would have been what made me hate the game. It's roll and move and take that. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So good call by Jason. To not play with that thing. Yeah. But interestingly enough, about this game, it's looking at comments, at other reviews. People are either like, this game is great for what it is, or they just completely hate it. I feel like there is no in-between opinion on this game. Really? It's love or hate? It's love or hate. I feel like if you have a family that likes light games, and especially games that, if your family's already playing like Monopoly or Chutes and Ladders or something where it's just roll and move, this is a good game for that. Because it's not complicated. No. You could dumb it down by only putting in certain special powers. Well, see, that's because I kept hearing people say, oh, it's a good family game, play with your young kids. And it's like, they're not going to grasp how to optimize these dice. Right. I think you have to play at a handicap. Yeah. They're just not going to grasp. They're just going to keep doing this like goofy stuff and not do anything on here. Right. But I feel like the game is a little bit fiddly with the dice. I just wanted to mention that before I forgot.
Yeah.
You got this little crowbar basically
Yeah.
thing. You pop the sides off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, I don't know. I guess it wasn't that bad, but you do change out dice a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time you go.
Right.
And essentially you roll, move your guy, get whatever you're supposed to get, pop a new thing off, pop it on, your turn's done.
And I'd heard people complaining this held the game up. We didn't experience that.
Nah, but we usually...
Maybe they're just dexterity
challenged. I'm all thumbs.
Yeah. But we didn't quite run into that problem, but I guess I could understand if you did.
Right.
But like I said, I just took it for what it was. It's just you look at it and it's like, okay, this has got no skill. This is just chucking dice.
Yeah, I think ever since I've been reviewing games, it kind of does come out sometimes where I'm a little bit crazy about something in a game that doesn't really bode well with me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's because like I'm looking at it as a reviewer of a design of a game, especially because I really like to get down, like, obviously War Machine has very intricate rules, like timing wise and the way they interact and everything. And so I'm very argumentative on, well, no, this will happen exactly at this point in time. It's kind of like playing a Magic tournament.
It's got a stack.
It's got a stack on how things actually come in and go out. And not that this is that complicated, but it just seems to me like that's such a, like with the reroll mechanism with the, that special ability I hate.
Right.
I feel like I don't see who thought it was a great idea unless they just said, well, everybody can get it. Well, that's fine if everybody can get it, but if you don't get it and it's like dramatically, hindering, maybe it should have been toned down a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how you tone it
down. It's either a take it out or use it. I don't see how you tone it down at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that I'm trying to redesign the game on how it is. I'm just saying, like, as it is right now, I wasn't a fan of that special. And I feel like and obviously it's a first play. We've only played it once.
Right.
I didn't choose to do the one thing everybody else was doing. I mean,
I was like, it wasn't your choice.
It wasn't my choice. I realized halfway through the game, oh, wow, that is really powerful. But everybody can get it. But if you don't get it, you don't have a good chance if everybody else is doing it.
And another thing was that it seemed like almost everybody started on a path on something and said, this is awful, and then changed direction. So, I mean, it's not...
Because I think everybody got coins.
Yeah, it seems like, well, maybe that's what it was. Everyone started trying to do coins or something, but...
Right.
So, I don't know. There's lackluster things as much as there is overpowered abilities, I guess.
Well, in the end, I'm going to say if you haven't played it, try it out. If you don't like light games or ones that are heavily driven by luck, stay away from it.
Yeah, you're not going to like it.
Yeah. But the dice transformation mechanism is pretty cool, and it would be nice to see that in some other games.
I did like the Rattlebones score track deal where he shortens the game up by moving towards you.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a pretty big mechanism. Well, I mean, it's not like that complicated.
Yeah, Rattlebones replaces the 1 on your die. If you roll it, he moves towards you. Or did you have to roll another die to see how many he moved though?
I think so. Yeah, there's another die. He can move 1, 2, or 3 spaces or something like that.
Right.
And then basically, once you're going around the score track and he's coming the opposite way. And whenever one player gets on him or passes him, the game ends.
Right.
So he could shorten the game really a lot. He could make it, really long if he doesn't get moved that much. So it does have a variable length in time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that is Rattlebones.
Yes, sir.